Okay, so look, I want to show you something that was not taught to a lot of Muslims. It was only taught to like a few of them. I want to share it with you just because this is one of those things where if you apply it to your daily life, you'll notice that you'll live in a way where you're not worried about anything that comes in the future and you're not really sad or anxious about anything that happened in the past. You're just basically living in the now and you're flowing in the now. Remember how I always say it's like you have to be living in the now? Otherwise, like you live your entire life, like your time is just wasted. You can't really focus. You never get into the flow zone. You're always thinking of the past, or like you do something silly, and then you're just overthinking of like, why did I do this? Why did I do that? So listen, there's something that there was like a group of Muslims that were very big on spirituality. So all they were doing is just basically studying the science of the heart. What these Muslims they found out is that there's a few principles for you to do so that you can focus in the present moment right now. So you can basically live through the entire day only living in right now. So you're not worried about anything that happens in the past, future. You just forget all of that. And so in Islam, the person who would be studying spirituality or like the inner dimension of Islam, you would call them like a Sufi. And those people are so misunderstood. Habibi, they're so misunderstood to the point that even my own mother, man, she would be like, these Sufi people, all they do is just twirl and dance. They're so bad. But I'm like, Mama, there is so many misunderstanding on this whole thing about Sufism and stuff. Listen, if you're a Sunni, you can still learn about the stuff about the inner dimension in Islam, which is the Tasawwuf. Even if you're like the other sects and all that stuff, it's just the inner dimension. That's all it is. So I'm gonna basically show you something in the Islamic spirituality that if you do, there's gonna be no fear and no grief on you through your whole life. And by the way, how do I know this whole thing is actually real and it works? Well, look, there's an ayah right here, actually, in the Quran, which basically says, behold, the friends of Allah shall certainly have no fear, nor shall they grieve, which basically means this whole ayah, it's like, think about it. If you're fearing something, it's because you're thinking of the future. And if you're grieving, it's because you're thinking of the past. But if you're in the now, if you're only living in the now, then you're basically a friend of Allah. You're basically, again, you're basically a friend of Allah. Because Habibi, Allah is only found in the present moment. You can't be finding Allah and you're only worried about the past. If there's too much activity in your mind, fearing the future, grieving the past, you'll never be able to sit down and know that Allah is watching you in this present moment right now. So look, there are 11 principles that I'll be teaching you. Listen, first of all, before I even show you this word right here, or like the word Sufi, before I even show you this, there's a verse actually, there's a quote, not a verse, there's a quote from Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, who basically said that words are like bridges, okay? Don't build your house on a bridge. So I'm giving you these words, I'm giving you the word Sufi, I'm giving you the word Naqshbandi, whatever, all these words, I'm saying them, but don't be writing down in the comments being like, oh, this guy's a Sufi, this guy's a Naqshbandi, this guy's a blah, blah, blah. I'm nothing, bro. No identity. I have literally no identity. I don't identify as a Wahhabi, Salafi, Sufi, blah, blah, blah. All these dumb names. I don't identify as any of them. I forget all of them. So these words, yes, they're there. We use them just so we can identify, so we know what we're talking about. But forget the words. Just get the idea that I'm giving you, the practices that I'm giving you, and you'll notice it's like you'll get the most benefit just from thinking this exact way. So look, these are 11 principles, and these principles were made by not this guy, even though this guy, I really love this guy, bro. This guy is actually so amazing. But it was made by I forgot who made them. I forgot the whole history, bro. This is not a history video. But anyway, so there are 11 principles, and once you do these principles, you'll notice that you're only going to be living in the now. No past, no future, just now. The first principles from these principles is basically a consciousness of breathing. This is the technique of breath control. One should not inhale or exhale carelessly without thinking about it. So look at this. We talk about taqwa, we talk about being aware that Allah is watching you, having all these ideas that Allah is watching you all the time. But how many of you guys are being aware of your breath every single time you inhale, every single time you exhale? We're saying that you need to be protecting yourself from shaitan. We're saying that you need to be protecting yourself from your own mind too. We're saying that every moment you need to be connecting with Allah, like in every single moment. So what's the thing that is gonna act like a trigger to allow you to be in the present every single moment? And by the way, breath in of itself, if there's no breath in your body, there is no life. There is an ayah actually in the Quran too that says that Allah has breathed into the human from His own spirits, which means that your breath, bro, your breath, Once you become aware of the breath, you're here. You're not in the past, you're not in the future, because the breath is only here. The breath is not like somewhere else, it's just here. So when you're aware of the breath, you're basically aware of the essence of life, the thing that's always here right now. And don't let a single breath pass by, inhale or exhale, without you being aware of it, because once you do that, then you've fallen back into sleep. You've lost your taqwa in that moment. And to get it back, all you do, just be aware of the breath, and that's it. So this right here is the first one. You'll notice that again, all these principles, they're all here to tell you that you just bro, be here now. And by the way, I'm gonna make it a separate video on this, but you do realize, man, all these principles, what they're gonna be doing to you is that from now on, you'll actually stop thinking, which is so beautiful. Like, if you look at me right now, I have no thoughts in my brain. Now, you might be thinking, it's like, wait a minute, what the heck is that? You have no thoughts in your brain. Like, it's like a baby, right? A baby just walks around living the world, having no thoughts in their brain. Now, you might be thinking that that's bad, but that's not bad. That's actually the best state to be in. I mean, imagine you're just living and there's not a single thought in your brain, but you're still doing things. You're still working. You're still talking. You're still eating. Just there's no thoughts. You're only here in the now. So this is what this does. It'll basically turn you into a person that when someone is talking to them, they're not like stuck thinking about something else. They're just here. They're just present. They're giving you all their energy. Once you're here, fully here, doesn't matter how many problems you have in your life. Once you know that the present moment is perfect and it's fresh and it's all there is, because this is where Allah is, you'll realize, like, why do I need to be thinking? You know how arrogant for you to be constantly sitting down anxious about things, overthinking things? That's so arrogant of you. That's actually an act of arrogance towards Allah, because what are you doing? Why are you anxious about things? Like, don't you know that Allah is the one that's running the entire world? Allah is running the future. Allah is running the past. Allah is running the present. So then why are you worried about what's going to happen in the future? Why are you so worried about that? How many times the future came, which, by the way, it comes every single moment, just so you know. Like, the future came now. Every single moment. But how many times did the future come and it's like, it was horrible. Like, something happened that was so horrible. Like, maybe you could say, oh, just a few times and stuff like that. But 99% of the future is always good. It's always good. There's nothing bad. All is always well. Which means stop overthinking, bro. Stop thinking. Just take this thinking out of your mind. Anyway, so this right here is the first one. Consciousness of breathing. Now the second one, I forgot which one it is, because these are not they're not numbered. But basically, we'll just look at them one by one. This one is a consciousness of time. It's to be conscious of how we spend our time, whether we're staying on the right track or going astray. In the latter case, one must repent. So the murid, like the person which is you, must analyze and evaluate his actions at all times. This is actually a thing in the Quran that says every day you have to be doing tafakkur. If you don't do tafakkur, you'll notice that your whole life is going to pass by and you're just lost. You're just basically lost. How many of you guys, before you go to sleep, you just basically sit down, you analyze the entire day and what you did throughout the day, and just think about what could you have done that would have made the entire day better? I'm pretty sure only 10% of you, 1% of you guys are only thinking this way. But be conscious of your time, man. Like, if I'm sitting right now, I need to be aware that what the heck am I doing right now? Like, am I doing proper things? Am I doing over like productive things? And productive things, it doesn't need to be just you doing work. Even you sitting down and just being aware that Allah is watching you right this moment, right now, it's something that's actually amazing to do, just so you know. So this is the second one. Just be aware of time. Like, if someone comes and asks you, what time is it? If you can't respond 7:44 p.m., then you're lost. You're not in the now. But if you're always aware what time it is, every single moment you're aware what time it is. Right now it's 7:45. No, it's still 7:44. Then that means you're still aware. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, so this is the second one. Third one is this one. And this is one of my favorite, actually, which basically means be aware of the place where you are walking. Now, some of you guys are going to be thinking it's just like, oh, just be aware where I'm walking. But that's not what it means. All that it means is that the salik, which is you, must always be careful during his journey in whatever the country he crosses, and that his eyes are not distracted from the goal of his journey. Basically, all that it means is just that if I'm moving around, right, I'm putting my head down and I'm thinking that I'm moving one step and another step and another step. That's all I'm doing. I'm not worried about like what's happening there, what's happening here. I'm just worried about here. Moving one step, another step. Now some of you guys are gonna be like, bro, that's gonna take so much brain energy. It's like, why can't I just do it subconsciously? I don't want to be thinking of moving one step and another step. It's so annoying. But that's the whole purpose. That's literally the whole purpose. When you're aware of these things, you're here. Once again, you're back. You're not distracted by your thoughts. You're not distracted by the past, the future. You're just here. This is what it means. To be a friend of Allah is to be here. And for you to be here, you have to be aware of what's happening here. How are you going to be here and you're not even aware of what's happening here? So right now, I'm even aware that I'm moving my hand just like this and this. I'm aware that like this glass is touching my face. I'm aware that my butt is touching the chair. I'm aware of all these things. Now, some of you guys might be like, bro, that's way too much. But that's the whole thing. Because what I'm doing right now is basically, think of it like I'm living in a cradle, bro. The entire world is a cradle. And I'm just like going through the ride. And Allah is just like basically moving me. And all I'm doing is just basically enjoying the here. I know my chair is making sounds and I'm enjoying them. I'm just literally here. I'm doing nothing else, just being here. That's all I'm doing. And what's so beautiful is that through me doing this, I'm allowing whatever the moment comes, whatever arises in the moment, to just come and allowing it. And as a result, everything that's here, I'm giving it 100% of my energy. I'm not giving it like distracted energy or like cut energy, like divided energy. It's all here. Because again, who's running the show? Allah is running the show. So if Allah is running the show and I don't come and interfere with the show, I'm just flowing through it, the show is going to be perfect. Regardless of like what's happening, all I have to do is just flow through it, bro. That's it. But anyway, so the third one or fourth one, I don't even know what number we're on because I forgot, right? Because I'm just living here. But anyway, so this one, vigilance. To be vigilant against thoughts that could lead us astray. When we repeat the sacred phrase, which is the shahada, which is la ilaha illallah. Basically, it's just saying that your mind should just be like busy with thoughts that are aware of Allah. So like la ilaha illallah. There is nothing that's worthy of worship except Allah. Or like just realizing that Muhammad is Rasulullah. Or like Allahu Akbar or Subhanallah or Alhamdulillah. These should, by the way, bro, they should be the only thoughts that you have in your mind. You shouldn't be having any other thoughts. Again, it's like some of you guys, again, bro, because I know this, because my dad tells me this. He's like, Muhammad, all this stuff, man. What are you talking about? Because I have bills I gotta pay. I have this I gotta do. I have all these things I have to do. I need to be thinking of these things. But I'm telling him, I'm like, but Baba, listen. I'm like, not just like anybody. I would tell them the same thing. I'm like, you're worried about the bill. You're worried about this. If you just focus on the now, and you're putting all your attention in here to the thoughts that are happening in your mind, the things that your body is touching right now, the things that are happening in the moments right now, if you just put all your attention right now, you won't need to be thinking about what's going to happen in the future because you're just here. So you're doing everything that you need to be doing right now. The future is going to be taken care of by itself if only you focus on the now. If you're every single moment, you're just focused on the future, and that's all you're doing, then in the moment, you're just thinking of the future. So you're putting no attention to the now. How is the future going to be fixed if the now is done? Do you understand what I mean? As a result, no bill gets paid properly. Nothing gets done properly. All you're doing is just worried about something that is like just in your mind, bro. It's just literally in your mind. So just be vigilant, man. Be so aware of the things that are happening in your mind to the point that this is the only thing you're aware of. Like this is the only thing you're doing. Just being aware. That's all it is. But anyway, so this one right here, they kind of do like repeat, remembrance, or making mention of, so orally or mentally, consists in the constant repetition of the dhikr. So dhikr, again, is just like la ilaha illallah, alhamdulillah, that has been attributed to us in order to attain the vision of bliss. This guy, Shah Naqshman, the guy, I don't even know, like I can't even pronounce his name. He used to say, the purpose of dhikr is that the heart should have always al-haq in consciousness, for its practice banishes inattention. So every moment, boy, you're only thinking of al-haq, al-haq. By the way, just so you know, even the sound of the 99 names is like, it's sacred. So even just the sound of saying the name is sacred. So saying the name al-haq, al-haq, that's sacred. So always having this name al-haq in your mind is gonna It's almost like it's gonna shine light on all the things that are dark within your body. So all these like thoughts that you have, or like these blocked emotions that you have within you, once you constantly have al-haq within you, automatically, bro, again, automatically they get healed. This is how perfect this being is, bro. Allah's so perfect to the point that just you being aware of Allah, no matter who you are, Muslim or non-Muslim, just you being aware of Allah automatically changes you. So imagine now if you're aware of Allah in every single moment, and this is what all these 11 principles do. They help you become aware of the now, which is where Allah is found in every single moment, and that's beautiful. Just think of that. If automatically every time you're thinking of Allah and you're aware that Allah is here, you just get healed immediately. Imagine if you're doing that in every moment, bro. So anyway, this one right here, consciousness of the heart, which basically says it consists of directing one's heart to the divine presence only, feeling and visualizing every thought and inspiration, good and bad, alternating between light and darkness inside the heart. The dhikr is indeed prescribed in order to control and avoid the turbulence of the heart. So all that it means is just basically you're aware of this center right here. There's a center right here that if you just become aware of it, put all your attention in it, I don't know what happens, bro. To be honest, like I just realized I'm talking about all these things and I have no idea what happens, man. All I know is just that, like, I don't know how it happens. It's just that I know that whenever I put my attention just here, it's almost like you get back to that baby that you were all these years. Because then your mind, bro, your mind lies all the time. So then when you put all your attention here, now you're actually coming to the world. You're living in the world from your heart. You're not living in the world from these false ideas that you add in your mind. You realize every single idea that you have in your mind is false. Because the only reality is that there is La ilaha illallah. That's the only reality. And Muhammadun Rasulullah. Every other reality or idea that you have in your mind is just false. So when you're putting your attention on the heart, there's a hadith that basically says that, like, I'll actually find it for you. It basically says right here, neither my earth nor my heavens can contain me, but the heart of a believing servant contains me. Which basically says that the heart is where the light of Allah is found. So then, when you put your awareness on the heart, that's where you find that. So when you take your awareness out of the mind, and then you put it just right here, that's how you start living from the state where you're just flowing, bro. And then when people see you, like, just living from that state, they're just like, bro, who is this guy? What is this guy on? Is he taking Red Bull? I don't take Red Bull, by the way, anymore, just so you know. But it's like, you just think it's like this person is just filled with light. Like, who is this person? And you always feel like you've known this person for a long time. And the only reason why you feel like that is just because they're flowing from a light that's familiar to you. This light of Allah is within every one of us. And it's familiar to every one of us. Every one of us is familiar to it. But all you have to do is just be aware of the place that this heart, this light is in, which is the heart. And then if you flow through this, you live your whole life just thinking, only being aware of the present moment and all that is, like that's all you're aware of. That's when you'll notice that when people come to you and then they start talking to you and you're talking to them from this state, automatically, bro, they're just like, I'd love to be around this person. This person's energy is beautiful. And that's all it is. That's literally all it is. And it's so beautiful, man. So now some of you guys are going to be looking at this stuff and you're going to be like, man, why are you talking? The word Sufi is here. The word Naqshbandi is here. Again, bro, these are just words. Forget the words. Just focus on the principles here. These principles are beautiful, man. So this right here are the Naqshbandi principles. I'm not going to go over all of them. You can just go online, search up the 11 Naqshbandi principles and look at all of them. Read them. You'll notice that they're just simple things that you do. And all these is just basically staying in the remembrance of Allah. That's all it is, bro. They're just made. Well, they're not even made. They're just found for you to be aware that Allah is always here. And then once you live through them and you're always aware of them, then basically you're only going to be living in the now. That's it. You're not like, you're just present. You're not worried and you're not anxious and you're not sad or you're not grieving. You're just here. And as a result, you become a friend of Allah. Because a friend of Allah, there is no grief on them and there is no fear. It's in the Quran too. So you'll notice, bro, like Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he used to live, he wouldn't waste a single moment without being aware of Allah. He would not waste a single moment without being aware of Allah. So then you and me, we're supposed to be doing the same. Don't waste a single moment without being aware of Allah. But then some of you guys are going to come and be like, well, how are we supposed to do that? Just follow these principles right here. Be aware of the breath. Be aware of your body. where your feet are moving. Be aware of the thought. Just be vigilant on them. Put your attention on the heart. Put your attention on the time. Know exactly what time it is. And just keep the remembrance of Allah always within you. Every moment you're just like, Allah, Allah, Al-Haq, Al-Haq. Every moment, bro. Through this, forget depression, forget anxiety, forget all these things. This heals everything, bro. And just, again, just you being aware of this being automatically, bro. Again, automatically it heals everything within you, everything. Because this is the way it's supposed to be. This light of Allah, it's supposed to come and nourish your every single cell within your body.